بسم الله النور
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين واللعنة على أعدائهم أجمعين. The subject of our discussion today is an Aalim. What type of Aalim should be invited into our centers, masjids and Husainiyas, and who has the right to invite, and how to choose. First of all, it is important to remember that an alim must be a person who fulfills three conditions. First of all, ilm, and second of all, taqwa, and then the basirat. Ilm means sufficient knowledge from any recognized Islamic hawza. Taqwa means piety, and a person who has taqwa is the one who acts upon his knowledge. That means he practices what he preaches. That means what Imam Ali ﷺ has said, Man amila bi'ilmihi fahuwa alim, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَعْمَلْ بِعِلْمِهِ فَلَيْسَ بِعَالِمٍ. Whoever acts on his knowledge is an alim, and whoever does not act on his knowledge is not an alim. So let's redefine our terms. Let's not even call, to begin with, let's not even call the person who does not practice his knowledge to be an alim. So an alim is the one who practices his knowledge. So that's about taqwa. And third of all, the basirat, the political insight, the correct understandings of the concepts and values of the religion. So we don't get confused. We don't end up into I don't know what I'm supposed to do situations. We don't end up getting stuck in different types of scenarios that we encounter in our lives. Imam Ali ﷺ has said, Al-alimu bi zamanihi la tahjumu alayhi al-lawabis. A scholar who knows his time, nothing confuses him. Different types of confusing situations that we face in our life and encounter in our interactions, we don't get confused and stuck. So there has to be a proper understanding of the religion. At-tafaqquh fi ad-deen. That means we learn the in-depth understanding. We have the in-depth understanding of the religion. So it is important that we invite those of the scholars who fulfill these three conditions, not any person who is not qualified from any recognized Islamic hawza, doesn't learn the Islamic knowledge properly from the proper sources, authenticated and trustworthy sources, and not the person who doesn't practice his knowledge, and not the person who doesn't have the basirat and insight into the religion, so he doesn't know what he's doing. And let's not invite the unqualified people. Why did Imam Hassan alayhi salam ask the zalim of his time, get off the mimbar of my father? So there are conditions that need to be met for anybody who sits on the mimbar or stands in the mihrab, and we need to make sure that the person we are inviting fulfills those conditions, and he's ahl. He deserves to be called a scholar and deserves to be invited. Imam Ali ﷺ has said, "Utlubul ilma min madhannihi waqtabisuhu min ahlihi." Learn the knowledge from where you have the dhan. That means from where it's most likely to be found. وَاقْتَبِسُوهُ مِنْ أَهْلِهِ, and learn it from its ahl, those who are ahl of knowledge, those who deserve to be called a scholar. And the Holy Quran says, فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِهِ. A human must look towards his food. And when somebody asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, and in the tafsir and interpretation done by the Imam, we learn that he has said that seek the knowledge, that a person must look towards where he is seeking his knowledge. That means from where, what is the source of his knowledge. This is very important to find what is the source. Is it authenticated? When you go to a doctor, do you go to just any doctor who may be having completed his MBBS from India or Pakistan or any other country, even if he is not certified by the government here? No, certainly we go and get our medications and prescriptions from the certified and authenticated doctors. And that's the same we need to apply. We need to learn the knowledge from the certified scholars and authenticated scholars. Who has the right to choose a scholar? Just this person who has more money, this Mr. Rich guy, or this Mr. Loudmouth who can influence by raising his voice in the meetings of the boards and the trustees or whatever? Or this Mr. Influential who can exercise his influence on the people and bring somebody he wants? Or this Mr. Well-connected who has relations and connections and he wants to invite somebody he's related with? We don't go for none of those procedures. We need to find who is Ahl. So we have a whole bunch of knowledges and sciences in the Hausa Islamic educational learning system, starting from the very basics: علم النحو, علم التصريف, علم المعاني, علم البيان, علم البديع, علم الرواية, علم الدراية, علم الفقه, علم أصول الفقه, علم المنطق, علم الفلسفة, علم العرفان, علم فقه الحديث, علم الرجال, علم التراجم, and so on and so forth. Lots of people don't even know the names of these knowledges and sciences of Islam. So when you don't even know the names, how can you determine who has those knowledges? So regular people simply don't have the means and tools to determine. Let's not continue to try to handle what we are unable to handle. That's why it is very important that when you want to invite a scholar, you turn to the scholars whom you trust, those who have taqwa, and let them decide which scholar needs to be invited. It is a problem that we face on some occasions, that people have been holding their own opinions. Everybody brings his own opinion, and we gather the public opinion to decide a divinely decided matter. When we come to the Islamic center or masjid or Husainiyah, we come here to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We come here to worship God in a masjid or Husainiyah or Imam Bargah according to what Imam Sadiq ﷺ has said. We don't come here to worship anybody's opinions. So please, when you come to a masjid or a Husainiyah, keep your opinions at home. We are not here to worship nobody's opinions. Imam Ali ﷺ has said, إِذَا جَلَسْتَ إِلَى الْعَالِمِ وَعِلْمِهِ, when you sit towards a scholar and his knowledge, فَكُنْ عَلَى أَن تَسْمَعْ أَحْرَصْ مِنْكَ عَلَى أَن تَقُولْ. So be more greedy towards listening than being greedy towards speaking in front of him. In other words, تتعلم, and then he said, تتعلم حسن الاستماع كما تتعلم حسن القول. Learn how to nicely listen the way you learn how to nicely speak. At the end, I would like to inform you the translation of the hadith which I mentioned in the beginning. Man waqqara aliman faqad waqqara rabbahu. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam has said, whoever honors an alim has honored his Lord. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us to understand and to practice the ma'arif and the high level teachings of Quran and Ahlul Bayt.